Welcome to Who Am I? I have Nathan Spiteri here, and we are going to be talking about something we are so excited about. And before we do that, I would like Nathan to give a little bit about his background, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we met.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you, Linda. So I guess my background is I'm Australian. I was born and raised in Australia. I now live in New York. I've been in New York for about 15 years. But I was abused as a child for many years. I was raped as a child for many years, and that went on from about 8 through to 13 years old. And then from 13, he kind of abandoned me and disappeared out of my life. I question who I was, what I was, where I belonged in this world, and just my dynamics with people and everything. And that went on for about 2 years of just questioning who I was. From 15 years old, I started riding my bike to a cruise lounge and gay clubs, and I would sneak into these clubs and let these men abuse me all over again. And then I would beat them up, bash them, rob them. And that was my FU to the world. That was my way of getting my power back and feeling alive. At this time, I discovered drugs and depression and alcohol abuses and addictions. And this went on for about, oh, Jesus, 16, 17 years, up until I was 32. And that was the first time I ever told someone about my past. First time I ever told someone what happened to me. In the meantime, I tried killing myself and just in a very lost place. I didn't know where I belonged or who I was, and beating up men and sleeping with men also whilst trying to have a relationship with a woman. Since coming out about my past and since speaking about my past, there's been ongoing years of therapy, group therapy, AA, and I now know who I am and where I fit in this world, and my relationship with this man, my relationship with my family, with men in general, with females, my siblings and friends. So for me now, it's about educating the world and giving back and saving lives, because there are far, far, far too many men in the world who don't have a voice. Too many men who will never find peace and get closure, and not just men, but women as well. There are too many people in the world who have suffered abuse and will never be able to move forward. So, this is something I never wanted to get into. This is something I never wanted to do, but it fell into my lap. And just through my therapy and writing things, I discovered that I had pages upon pages and chapters upon chapters of stories of my life that I was unable to talk about. But eventually I was able to talk about, I was able to move forward with and understand and evolve with, which I think is most important. And like I said, for me now, it's about giving back and saving lives and helping other people.
I want to take time to really acknowledge that because you're right. A lot of times we have experiences that are tough and they're hard and they're not something we want to open up and talk about. But we realize that when we're willing to be vulnerable and go into that space and open up and become that voice, we pave the way for other people to also have their voice. And that's why we do it. That is one of the reasons why like if anyone's wondering how the two of us met, it's through our advocacy work. I'm an empowerment coach, and we met through the group Voice of Voice of Men 360. They have several different podcasts and resources for men. And what I like most about that particular group or this particular group is the fact that men and women are part of the community. So while the services are for men and boys to take in, they have people such as myself who have also gone through things that do advocate for having a voice and creating that space for the people to really share, to open up and tell that story. That I get really excited about this work. I get excited because of all the things that you shared, of all the things that people can go through. They need to know that there's support, that there's resources, that they're not alone, and that it's okay to speak up. Because when I was thinking about us having this topic tonight, I really thought about how a lot of times we're always looking at who has it easier, men or women, who has it worse, men or women. But what's more empowering is when we realize that we're interdependent and we can support one another uh, through events such as the one that we're planning. And we can change the narrative of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be empowered is really the message. And a lot of people may not have heard about International Men's Day. I'm not sure whether it came before or after International Women's Day. What I like about it is not the fact that it's a day set aside to celebrate, but what it does is it sets the stage to really be focusing on the advocacy, the awareness, and education all throughout the year. Every day counts, every day matters, but the day is celebrated to showcase the successes, the progress that we make.
Absolutely. Yeah, November 19th is International Men's Day, and we've put on this amazing conference with some great speakers. And continue on what you just said, I think it's a great platform to men to as well also express where we are at in the world and where we fall behind and where we're lacking. And men, I guess, especially with shame, toxic masculinity, anger, hatred, these are things that men never talk about. We never want to work through. We never want to push forward. We never want to understand and evolve with. We just kind of throw it to the side and pretend we're fine and move forward and not deal with. So I think International Men's Day is a great platform for all men to be able to talk about where they're at, for them to say that they're not okay, because it's okay not to be okay, for them to be able to just express how they're feeling, to cry, to show vulnerability, to also grow and educate themselves and their loved ones, to educate themselves on where we are individually. I've been through my trauma. We've all been through our individual trauma, but where we are individually, but where we are as a community, as a group, and how we all need to support each other and move forward with each other in order to grow and evolve and to, I think, just move forward as a community. Because when men heal, we all heal. When men don't heal and we keep it inside and we're angry, we punish everyone else around us. We punish the women, we punish the children, we punish the people around us. So I think International Men's Day, November 19th, and this conference and just being able to come together as a collective, come together as a group, and come together as a community of men and women, we're able to educate ourselves, we're able to learn and grow as one and move forward as one instead of moving forward individually. Because I think once we move forward, or when we move forward as one, we're all going to heal together. So, I think it is very important, and I think it's something that's, long overdue, and I can't wait to be a part of it, to speak and to share my story and where I'm at. So, let's get it on.
Yes, I'm definitely excited to have you be a part of this, Nathan, and the other members of our team, because really, we're going to do something different on that day. It's going to be more than coming in and listening. We're actually going to have breakout sessions. We're going to be doing some role playing activities, different things where we can really dig apart some of the things that men have difficulty around, maybe communicating, or things that show up repeatedly in their relationships. And so we really wanted to talk about things holistically, but it starts with the whole premise or theme: who am I as a man, and who do I want to aspire to be, in the attributes that I have? And the way I look at it, there are a whole spectrum of different personalities, gifts. And so there isn't going to be any one particular thing to aspire to, if I had to say, because everyone brings something unique, but there's certain characteristics. So being able to, like you said, to show respect to our partners and the people that we work with, to be able to bring up issues and hold people accountable for things that aren't right, to be able to be vulnerable. And if we need to or want to express our feelings of sadness or grief, that it isn't limited to being stoic, or tenderhearted. There's a whole spectrum of that, and really it's about figuring out the best of all of those things and encouraging and setting the way of the things and the attributes that, when I think about my sons, I have two sons, and so with them, I'm always looking at how can I be, more open to different things. Like they can cook. They're encouraged to treat people with respect and kindness. They're encouraged to do all these things, and if they cried, that's fine too. I don't see that as being, no, you're not going to do that. You can feel pain. You can speak up. You can do all these things. You teach them how to step up and step into, a situation where maybe there's another person being bullied, to be able to speak up to that. Those are the things that we want to be teaching the children coming up through society. But then for the men that are already living the society, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. But events such as these, and by us showing up, that's showing that this is what it could be. This is what we're aspiring to demonstrate through our own actions, both as men and women being united and supporting one another.
Absolutely. And I think, you hit the nail on the head when you said just by showing up. I think just by showing up is the most important thing. It really is. And, I think three of the most important words in the English language is I hear you.
Yes.
Is having people there to support you, to listen, to love, to trust, to believe. So I think it's very important. And another thing you touched on is that we're all individuals. We all bring something different to the plate. And that was one of the biggest things I learned in group therapy, was that we all come from different backgrounds, religions, races, whatever it is. And, in my group therapy, I was the only one who'd been sexually abused. Everyone else had their addictions and their other traumas. But coming together as one, as a community, as a team, supporting and loving and listening and trusting each other, we all learned so much from each other individually. Even though everyone's story was so different, we all learned from each other. So, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter of your trauma, because trauma is all relative. It's all about how you deal with your trauma. It's all about how you move forward with it. It's all about what you learn from it and take from it and evolve with. So, we're all coming into this individually as different people, but we're all learning and growing together collectively as one. So I think that's the most important thing is just showing up, is being there, is being present, and knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you're going to have people who are going to love you, to support you, to trust you, to believe you, which is most important thing. Because really all we really want is for someone to be there, is for someone to listen, or is for someone to sit in silence with us. And I think another important thing is just to breathe. Breathing is so important in this whole step of recovery and healing, because we get anxious, we breathe fast, we get depressed, we breathe fast, or we don't breathe at all. So I think just breathing, taking deep breaths, it allows us to come back into our body. It allows us to ground ourselves. It allows us to survive, to live, to grow, to be strong. So, breathing, being there as one, showing up. There are so many different aspects that we can all bring to this and learn from each other and grow individually, but grow as one as well, as a community, as a team, as a human race, as people in general. Whether, we are men, women, children, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Because we're all going through it, and we all need support, and we all need love. So I think, having days like this is super important, again, for men to be able to express who they are and how they feel and what they feel and where they're coming from, but also for their loved ones, for their parents, their children, their wives, their husbands, to be able to learn what their partner or what their family member, what their individual is going through, and learning how to support that person, how to be there for that person, how to provide, and how to give and how to listen. So I think, as one, we're all coming together, and I think it's very important for us all to just be there with each other and support each other.
Absolutely. And I just want to share for everyone that's listening that this year's 2022 theme is break the biases through male engagement. So we are here today to engage, and we want to break down those biases. We want to share the truths. We want to share the desired state. And I like how you put it so eloquently. Being able to be there for your partner, your family, all of those things. I think that's so encompassing, that togetherness piece. I think that that's what, for me, brings it all together, because it's an internal thing for sure, to understand who you are and how you want to show up, but you're doing it so that you can engage in the communities and families that we live and work in.
Yeah. And, I did individual therapy. I did group therapy. I did rehabilitation programs. I did rehab. I did AA, Narcotics Sex Anonymous. So showing up to all of these things was key. Showing up is what saved my life. Even if I didn't share in group therapy, even if I didn't share in AA, or even if I just sat there with my therapist for half an hour in silence, and we did that many times, that was enough to know that someone is there for me. Someone does love me. Someone is going to help me and support me and be there with me on this journey. So yeah, I think, everything we've spoken about is just the tip of the iceberg, and bringing it all together. So, it all starts with us individually, but it all ends with us collectively as one, and moving forward as one. So, I am excited to speak on November 19. I'm excited for my TED Talk on October 22nd in Dallas to be able to speak about this. And I'm working with a coach, and I spoke to my coach, when was it? I think late last week. And he said to me, he did some research. There's been about 110 TED Talks on abuse and rape and stuff like that. Only 2 of these TED Talks out of 110 have been about men. Only 2 about men, and over 100 have been about women. One of these TED Talks was from an individual, a female who wasn't raped and who's not a man, but she was speaking about it. And the other one was from a man, I think from about 2015, 16, who kind of touched on his experience of being abused, and then just dropped it and disappeared out of the world. He was from Canada, dropped it and kind of disappeared, and didn't do any more about it, didn't push the subject. So I think, that's the problem with society today, in that no one cares about male sexual abuse. No one wants to talk about male sexual abuse. No one wants to deal with it. No one, we all just want to sweep it under the carpet and push it out of the way and pretend it doesn't happen. And it's time we change that. We need to change the narrative. We need to change the men's sexual abuse paradigm, and create a conversation rooted in hope and power, because that's the only way we're going to move forward. That's the only way we're going to understand and come together as a community, and just really change the narrative, and be able to have people care about male sexual abuse. 79% of all global suicides are male. 79% of global suicides are male, and over 70% of those suicides are due to unresolved trauma. So imagine if we as men, or we as a community, come together and support these men, and are able to talk about it, share our experiences, learn, evolve, and grow from it. Imagine the thousands and thousands of lives we're going to save. Imagine the thousands of lives that are going to be able to then impact other people. So it's a pyramid kind of thing. It's starts from the top and just works its way down. So, all we need, and my coach has been telling me this, Nathan, all you need is that one person to open that door. All you need is that one person to say yes, for you to walk through it, because then once you walk through it and open that door, you're going to open a door for the thousands of people coming behind you. So I think that's what we need to do. We need to come together. We need to move together. We need to push forward. We need to not give up, and we need to just educate the world. We need to educate our children as well, so that they can grow up and they understand. And as children, if they're being abused, they can see it, they know it, they know how to deal with it, they can move forward with it. They can, they'll know that they're believed, and they're going to be trusted, and they can speak to their parents, they can speak to the police or the school teacher. But most importantly, if we're going to educate our children, we first need to educate ourselves as adults. Otherwise, what's the point? There is no point.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Because yes, we can talk to our kids, but if we're not leading by example and showing how to do it and doing it, then yeah.
It's very clear to me by the testimony that you just gave about the percentages and the number of people that are advocating, that are showing up, that are sticking to the cause. Because you're right, that one door that you open can open the door for many, and that's how you make that impact. And so, from the little that I've known of you in the time that we've worked together, Nathan, you inspire me because of your energy, your passion behind the cause, the not giving up, and just going out there. Because you've shared some other stories about where women would give their testimonies and stories, and everyone listens. A man doing it doesn't have quite the same
Yeah.
pull to it, but it should. It really should, because look at the numbers. There's more men that are experiencing these higher numbers of suicide and other things, and so the numbers, need to come to the population to serve them in the way that's out there.
Yeah. It's 1 in 6 males have been sexually assaulted or abused, and that's the men who come forward.
Yes,
So
I'm sure.
imagine the thousands and thousands and thousands of men who will never come forward, or who will never have a voice, will never, for whatever reason, whether it's shame, toxic masculinity, power, money, their work, their family dynamics, religion. Imagine the thousands of men that will never be able to come forward about this. And yes, I have approached many people in the media about doing a story and Instagram and podcasts and stuff. And 95% of the media have said to me, if you're a woman, we would talk to you today. Because you're a man, we are not going to talk to you. And that is it right there. That is where it all is. That just shows where society is at. That just shows where the media is at. And that just shows how we really need to start the conversation, how we really need to change the narrative, because nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change if we don't change, and if we don't make the change, create the change. We're going to be, hitting our heads against a brick wall because nothing is going to happen. So we need to stand proud. We need to stand loud, and we need to just say, this is it. These are the statistics. This is how it is. This is real life. And this shit happens every single day. Let's not sugarcoat it. Sexual abuse, male sexual abuse, rape, it happens every day to men and to women. So for those of us who want to pretend that it doesn't happen, who wants to, have their Instagram life of beautiful pictures and beautiful bullshit, then we have a problem as a society.
I couldn't agree more that we've got to change the narrative. I'm glad that you are a part of our team to put on this wonderful event. And we will be sharing all of the details about our event, how you can become a part of it. If you would like to sponsor a man to be able to attend the event, we have that too. There'll be more to come. We have more members on our team that will be appearing in the next few weeks. And so you'll get to meet all of them. And eventually we'll be sitting together on November 19, changing and shifting society's view on what it means to be a man in the modern day world.
Absolutely. So yeah, everyone buy a ticket, come along and be a part of this amazing day, and let's create change.